Okay, so getting something, anything really, from where it starts to, well, to you and me, it's become this incredibly complex web, hasn't it?
Absolutely. A global puzzle, really.
And you sent over some fascinating sources looking at the technologies, trying to make sense of all that complexity.
Yeah, trying to bring some order to the chaos, you could say.
So for this deep dive, our mission, I think, is to get past just the names, IoT, digital transformation, robotics, RPA, blockchain, AI, ML, data analytics. Wow, that's a list.
It is quite a list. Easy to get lost in the buzzwords.
Exactly. We want to figure out what they actually are, what makes them different, and really how they're changing the game in supply chain management.
Right, the real world impact.
Yeah. We've got articles here that define them, but also show them in action, moving actual goods.
Which is key, seeing the theory applied.
Now, I know that list sounds maybe a bit overwhelming, a lot of jargon flying around.
It can definitely seem that way at first.
But stick with us. We're aiming to cut through that, get to the core ideas, and maybe uncover some surprising ways these techs are already, working behind the scenes.
Sounds like a good plan. Where should we start untangling this?
Let's try defining them first. What makes each one unique? Get the basics down.
Good idea. It's easy for them to blur together otherwise. Let's kick off with the Internet of Things, IoT.
Okay, IoT. Hear that one a lot.
Right. So at its heart, IoT is about connecting physical objects, devices, machines, containers, you name it, embedding them with sensors, software, so they can collect and share data, often in real time.
So things talking to the internet, basically.
Essentially, yes. And the key difference here, the thing that sets it apart, is that direct link, connecting the physical world to the digital grid. Think of it like giving the physical world, digital senses, a digital voice, like a sensor on a refrigerated truck. Not just saying, I'm here, but I'm here and, the temperature is rising.
Ah, okay. So it's proactive, not just tracking, but sensing condition.
Exactly. That shift from reactive to proactive is a huge part of its value in supply chains.
Got it. Okay, next on the list, digital transformation. That sounds bigger, broader.
It is. It definitely is. Digital transformation isn't just one technology. It's more like a strategic overhaul for a whole business.
No overhaul.
Yeah, it's about fundamentally changing how a company operates and delivers value by integrating digital tech across everything. The key difference is that it's holistic. It's the journey to become digital first.
So it might use IoT or AI, but it's the bigger picture strategy.
Precisely. Think of it as the whole company stepping back and asking, how can we reimagine our business for a digital world? It's the strategy, not just the tools.
Right. Okay, that distinction helps. Now, something maybe more concrete, robotics.
Robotics, yeah. This one's about designing and using programmable machines, robots, to automate physical tasks.
Physical tasks, that's the key.
That's the core difference, yes. Bringing intelligent automation into the physical world. Think warehouses, assembly lines, robots picking, packing, moving things. Not just dumb arms, increasingly sophisticated machines.
Okay, physical robots doing physical work. Makes sense. But then there's automation that's purely digital, right? That's RPA.
Exactly. Robotic Process Automation, or RPA. This uses software bots.
Software bots.
Right. To automate repetitive, rule-based digital tasks. Things humans used to do on computers, clicking through screens, entering data.
So it mimics human actions on a computer.
Precisely. The key difference is it works within existing software, following predefined rules. Think of it like a virtual assistant for those really tedious digital chores, no physical machine involved.
Okay, clear difference. Physical versus digital automation. Got it. Let's switch gears. Blockchain. All about security and trust, I gather.
Very much so. Blockchain is essentially a shared, distributed digital ledger. It records transactions securely across many computers.
Distributed, meaning no single person controls it.
That's a key part, yes. And its real strength, its defining feature, is creating a record that's transparent and incredibly difficult to tamper with. Immutable, basically.
Immutable. Can't be changed easily once it's there.
Exactly. Think of it like a shared digital record book where every entry is permanent and visible to everyone who's supposed to see it. Once it's written, it's set.
That shared, unchangeable record. I can see how that builds trust. Okay, moving into the intelligence side of things. Artificial intelligence.
AI.
AI.
Yeah.
The big one. It's a really broad field, fundamentally aiming to create machines capable of tasks that normally require human intelligence.
Like thinking, learning.
Exactly. Reasoning, problem solving, perception, learning. The key difference is that ambition to simulate human cognitive abilities in machines. building computers that can, in some sense, think.
Okay, the big umbrella term. And machine learning ML fits under that umbrella.
Precisely. ML is a subset of AI. It specifically focuses on getting computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every single task.
So you don't write rules for everything. Right. Instead, you feed them data, and they identify patterns in that data to make predictions or decisions. The core difference is that ability to learn from experience, from the data itself. Teaching computers by showing, not just telling.
Okay, AI is the goal. ML is a major way of getting there using data. Makes sense. Last one on our list, data analytics.
Data analytics. This is all about examining raw data to find meaningful insights, spot trends, and ultimately help make better decisions.
So digging through the numbers.
Essentially, yes, but it's more than just looking at numbers. The key difference is the focus on transforming that raw data into actionable knowledge, sifting through maybe mountains of information to find the valuable nuggets that tell you what to do next.
Got it. Making sense of the data we collect. Okay, that helps clarify each one. But what strikes me is how they aren't really islands.
Not at all. They work together. That's where the real power often lies.
Yeah, like the sources pointed out, IoT devices collect data.
Which AI and ML algorithms can then analyze.
It could then tell robots what to do.
Exactly. Or blockchain could secure that IoT data trail.
And RPA could maybe process the insights coming out of the data analytics.
Precisely. It's becoming this interconnected ecosystem, not just a toolbox, a synergy.
Okay, so now we have a better handle on what they are. How are these technologies, individually or together, actually, changing how supply chains are managed day to day?
Right. Let's get into the impact. Supply chain management, SCM, it's that whole complex flow, isn't it? Planning, executing, controlling how goods move from source to consumer.
End to end.
End to end. And these technologies are hitting several key areas hard, creating real change.
Okay, where do we see the biggest shifts? Maybe start with just knowing where stuff is, visibility and tracking.
Definitely a huge one. And IoT is, revolutionary here. You put sensors on containers, trucks, even individual pallets.
To get real-time location.
Real-time location, yes, but also condition. Yeah. Temperature, humidity, shock, vibration, you name it. This allows companies to spot potential issues before they become big problems.
Like that rising temperature example, prevent spoilage.
Exactly. So you get better inventory tracking, much more accurate delivery estimates, and proactive problem solving. It's like having a constant live feed of your goods journey and well-being.
A digital eye, yeah. And blockchain fits in here too for trust.
Absolutely. Blockchain adds that layer of trust and transparency to the tracking. It creates that shared, immutable record of where a product has been, who handled it, when.
So you can trace its history reliably.
Very reliably.
Right.
Which is massive for things like proving authenticity, fighting counterfeits, and just building trust between all the different companies involved in a long chain. Everyone is seeing the same verified history.
See it. Trust the data. Got it. Okay, what about just making things run smoother, faster, efficiency and automation?
Big impacts there, too. Robotics is a prime example, especially in warehouses.
The robots picking and packing.
Yep. Picking, packing, sorting, moving goods around huge fulfillment centers. They work 24/7, they're fast, they're accurate. It leads to much quicker processing, lower labor costs in those areas, and fewer errors.
We definitely see that with the big online retailers. And RPA helps with efficiency too, but on the digital side.
Correct. RPA tackles the administrative burden. Processing purchase orders, generating invoices, handling shipping documents. Those repetitive, rule-based tasks on the computer.
Freeing up people for other things.
Exactly. It frees up human employees to focus on tasks requiring judgment, problem-solving, customer interaction, things the bots can't do. So physical bots for physical tasks, software bots for digital admin.
And AI and ML, they optimize the bigger picture, right? Rotes, stock levels.
Precisely. AI and ML can analyze huge data sets, historical sales, weather patterns, traffic conditions, you name it, to create much more accurate demand forecasts.
So less guessing about what people will buy.
Less guessing, yeah. Which means less money tied up in excess inventory and fewer missed sales due to stockouts. They also optimize logistics routes, finding the fastest, most fuel-efficient way to get from A to B, adapting in real time.
Making the whole system smarter, not just faster, which leads to better decisions, I guess.
Yeah.
And managing risks.
Definitely. Data analytics is fundamental here. By analyzing all the data flowing through the supply chain, companies get real insights into how things are actually performing.
Finding the bottlenecks.
Finding bottlenecks, identifying inefficiencies, understanding costs. It allows for truly data-driven decisions about, say, which suppliers to use, where to locate warehouses, how much to produce, moving away from gut feel.
Towards evidence-based choices. And AML play a role in risk, too.
They do. AI can analyze patterns to predict potential disruptions. Maybe a supplier is showing signs of financial instability, or a particular shipping lane is prone to delays.
Like an early warning system.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
It helps identify risks proactively and can even suggest mitigation strategies. Plus, AI can optimize pricing or promotions based on real-time demand and competitor activity.
Wow, okay. Predictive power. Now, supply chains involve lots of different companies working together. How does this tech help collaboration?
Blockchain is a big enabler here again. That shared secure ledger means all partners, manufacturers, shippers, retailers can access the same trusted information.
Reduces disputes, improves trust.
Exactly. It builds trust and transparency, especially in complex chains with many tiers of suppliers. Everyone's on the same page, looking at the same verified data.
And does digital transformation itself help break down barriers?
It does, because a core part of that strategy is usually integrating systems. Connecting the platforms used by different partners, allowing for smoother communication and data sharing across the entire ecosystem, less siloed information.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, one last area. The customer. How does this help deliver a better customer experience?
Data analytics and AI are key here. By analyzing customer purchasing habits, preferences, even delivery feedback, companies can get a much deeper understanding of what individuals want.
Personalization.
Yes, leading to more personalized product recommendations, tailored promotions, maybe even customized delivery options. It helps make the supply chain more responsive to the end customer's actual needs.
It really paints a picture of a supply chain that's not just efficient, but also visible, intelligent, and customer-focused.
That's the goal, absolutely.
Now, theory is one thing, but the sources you shared had some really concrete examples. Real companies, real numbers. Let's talk about those quantified values, starting with Maersk and IoT.
Right, Maersk, the shipping giant, they put IoT sensors on their refrigerated containers, reefers.
To monitor temperature, I assume?
Temperature, humidity, location, yeah. Remote container management, they call it, allowed them to keep tabs on sensitive cargo like food or pharmaceuticals while at sea.
And the payoff. The number.
The quantified value mentioned was around a 15% reduction in cargo spoilage due to being able to intervene earlier if conditions went wrong. Plus, better overall visibility of their container fleet.
15% less waste. That's significant. Okay, Nike and digital transformation.
Nike's been really pushing their digital strategy, focusing on selling directly to consumers, personalizing experiences through their apps and website.
Connecting directly, yeah. What results did they see?
The sources highlighted double-digit growth in their direct-to-consumer sales, which is huge. Also mentioned improvements in inventory management, getting the right products to the right place, driven by that digital focus.
Double-digit growth, okay.
Yeah.
Shows the strategy's working. Now, Amazon and robots. We see the videos.
Oh, yeah. Amazon's deployment of warehouse robots is massive. Hundreds of thousands of them moving shelves, assisting pickers.
And the impact on speed.
The quantified value is pretty dramatic. Reports suggest a 20 to 40% reduction in order fulfillment time per item and lower operating costs per order, too. Serious efficiency gains from that physical automation.
20 to 40% faster. Wow. What about RPA? That's software automation. The global logistics company example.
Yeah, this company automated customs declarations using RPA bots.
Yeah.
A typically very manual, paper-heavy process.
Tedious work. What do the bots achieve?
Over a 70% reduction in the processing time per document.
70%.
70. Massive time saving, leading to faster customs clearance, getting goods moving much quicker. Huge efficiency boost.
Incredible. Okay, blockchain for food safety, Walmart and IBM Food Trust.
Right. They used blockchain to track food products like pork or leafy greens from the farm right through to the store shelf, creating that transparent, traceable history.
And the benefit, how fast could they trace?
The quantified value was taking traceability time down from days, sometimes even a week, to just seconds.
Days to seconds. That's critical for recalls if there's a safety issue.
Absolutely. Pinpointing the source of a problem almost instantly. Huge for public health and consumer confidence.
Definitely. AML optimizing routes for DHL.
DHL used AI predictive analytics for route optimization, their Smart Trucks initiative, analyzing traffic, delivery schedules, etc.
To find better routes, what was the gain?
Around a 15% improvement in delivery efficiency, which also meant less fuel used and better on-time delivery rates. Smart routing saving time and money.
15% adds up across a fleet like DHL's.
Okay.
Last one. P&G using data analytics.
Procter & Gamble. They leveraged advanced data analytics to get a much better handle on consumer demand patterns. What people are buying, when, where.
Better forecasting.
Exactly. The quantified value was a 10 to 15% improvement in forecasting accuracy.
And that leads to
Better inventory management, less waste, fewer stockouts, and getting products onto the right shelves more effectively, using data to match supply with demand.
these numbers really drive it home, don't they? This isn't just theoretical. It's delivering real, measurable value.
Absolutely. Concrete benefits across the board.
So looking ahead, what's next? How do these technologies evolve and integrate even further? What does the future supply chain look like?
Well, the trend is definitely towards tighter integration and more intelligence. We'll likely see more hyper-automation.
Hyper-automation.
Yeah, combining RPA with AI and ML. So bots can handle not just simple repetitive tasks, but more complex processes that require some judgment or learning.
Interesting.
And the idea of autonomous supply chains is getting closer. Using AI, IoT, robotics working together with potentially minimal human intervention for routine operations.
Fully automated chains. That's quite a leap. Any other big trends?
Digital twins are becoming more common, creating a complete virtual simulation of the entire supply chain.
To test things out. Optimize.
Exactly. Test scenarios, predict disruptions, optimize flows without impacting the real world. Edge computing will grow too, processing data closer to the source, like on the truck itself, for faster real-time decisions from IoT devices.
Faster reaction.
Faster reactions. And sustainability is becoming huge. Using these techs to track carbon footprints, optimize for energy efficiency, reduce waste throughout the chain, plus just generally building more resilience and agility to cope with disruptions and offering more personalized on-demand services.
It sounds incredibly dynamic, maybe even a bit disruptive. What does this mean for the people working in supply chain? What skills become critical?
That's a crucial question. The workforce definitely needs to adapt. Digital literacy is baseline, just being comfortable using these tools.
Understanding the tech.
Right. And strong data analysis skills are becoming vital. Not everyone needs to be a data scientist, but understanding how to interpret data, ask the right questions. That's key.
Making sense of the information overload.
Precisely. And a mindset of continuous learning is essential. The technology won't stand still. People need to be willing to upskill and adapt constantly.
Lifelong learning, really.
Absolutely. And maybe counterintuitively, collaboration skills become even more important. Humans working alongside machines, different teams needing to integrate their digital workflows. Communication and teamwork are critical.
So it's not just tech skills, but human skills too. Problem solving, critical thinking.
Exactly. Optimizing processes, understanding the bigger picture, managing exceptions, cybersecurity awareness. These human-centric skills remain incredibly valuable, perhaps even more so in this tech-driven environment.
This has been, well, a really illuminating deep dive. It's clear these aren't just buzzwords floating around.
Far from it.
They are fundamentally changing how businesses operate, how goods get to us, offering real advantages in visibility, speed, intelligence, and ultimately for the customer experience.
Absolutely. The transformation is well underway.
And maybe as you're listening, think about how these shifts might impact your own work, your industry, or just areas you're interested in. Where do you see these technologies making the biggest waves?
That's a great point. It's happening everywhere.
It really makes you think about what's coming next, these interconnected, intelligent supply chains. What part of this future excites you the most? Or maybe what new skill might be worth exploring to navigate it all? Definitely food for thought.